Good evening, everyone. We're ready to begin tonight's City of Gardena regular City Council meeting for April 24th, 2018. Madam City Clerk, will you call the roll, please?
All members of the City Council are present.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, do we have anything to report from closed session?
No, we don't.
Okay, thank you. So at this time, we're going to begin with our Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight, it will be led by Ethan Rhodes and his sister Zoe Rhodes, who are both students at 156th Street Elementary School. Immediately following that, if you can continue standing as we're being led in the invocation by the Reverend Clyde C. Lawrence. So please stand.
Face the flag.
Ready, begin.
Proud and pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Shall we pray? Master, we come before you with bowed heads and with humble hearts, asking you to forgive us of our sins so that we may approach the throne of grace boldly. You're such an awesome God. We love you, we adore you, we magnify you, we lift your name on high. In all of the earth and all of the universe, there's no other God like you. Thank you right now. We ask that you would come inside of this room and stay with us as we discuss things. Bless this council, bless this mayor, bless in Jesus' name, amen, and thank God.
You may be seated. So if I could get the two pledgers to please come back to the front, Ethan and Zoe. So tonight's Pledge of Allegiance was led by two students from 156th Street Elementary School, whose principal is Miss Cedra V. Dudley. The first one was Ethan Rhodes, who is a sixth grader, and his sister Zoe Rhodes, who's a fourth grader. As I mentioned, they're both brother and sister. Ethan is the school's student council president, and Zoe serves as the student council secretary. So do you guys want to tell us who brought you to the meeting tonight? Was it mom, dad, uncle?
Dad brought us here.
Dad brought us. Where's your dad at? All right, let's everyone give him a round of applause for bringing him out tonight. Thank you. And Ethan, is there anything you'd like to say?
You say it.
Do you want to let your sister speak for you? Speak on behalf of your family?
I just want to thank you guys for letting me say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Ethan, would you like to say anything or? No. Okay, well, it's all right. This is the year of the girl, so, we'll let her speak for both of you guys. Well, thank both of you guys for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance and for being such great students at your school. So everyone, please give them a round of applause. You guys can take your seat now. If I can get Pastor Lawrence to please come back to the front again. And while he's coming, I'm going to read his invocation. Oh, I'm sorry. Before you come, I believe the student council teacher advisor, Mr. Roy Hayashida, is he present here tonight? Oh, that's you. Okay, we just want to recognize you for being the student council teacher tonight. So thank you as well for being present here with the students. Please give a round of applause as well. So tonight our invocation was led by the Reverend Clyde C. Lawrence, who is the pastor at I Am Blessed Assurance Baptist Church, which meets on the premises of Church of the Holy Communion, located at 1160 West 141st Street in Gardena. Pastor Clyde Lawrence was born and raised in Baytown, Texas, which is outside of Houston. He came to California in 1963, just over 55 years ago, and settled in Compton, California. He attended and graduated from Compton Senior High School, followed by earning an associate's degree from Compton College. In 1967, he spent a year at Morehouse College in Atlanta, where he was forever impacted and influenced to follow a call to the ministry by the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Pastor Lawrence then pursued formal seminary education at Los Angeles Bible College, after which he transferred to Biola University in La Mirada, California, where he studied organizational leadership. From 1995 to the early 2000s, he served as ministerial assistant to Pastor Percy Hill at Cochran Baptist Church in Los Angeles. In 2005, he was ordained and founded I Am Blessed Assurance Baptist Church in Gardena, where he is head pastor and preaches every Sunday at 1 p.m. worship service. Reverend Lawrence has 3 adult children and 3 grandchildren. He is also a business owner and entrepreneur. So, Pastor, would you like to say anything?
Just thank you for inviting me, and my friend Mark, good to see you again. God bless this council, and you've done a wonderful job in erecting a great city. Call the police department, they are like that, and I appreciate that. It's clean and it's orderly city. Thank you.
All right, thank you as well. Everyone, please give me a round of applause. So next on our agenda is a presentation. As all of you know, we are now recognizing veterans here at our city council meeting. So tonight's veterans recognition is a person who was appointed by Councilmember Medina, Mr. Noe Rubio, and he can please come forward as I'm reading his bio here. Mr. Rubio was born and raised in Gardena, one of the last Gardena High School Mohicans, class of 1994. His military service includes, Mr. Rubio was enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps on January 22nd, 1997, and served until May 5th, 2002. He was stationed in Okinawa, Japan, Rome, Italy, Cairo, Egypt, and Quantico, Virginia. His occupation while serving was administrative with a special assignment at a U.S. Embassy, Marine Security Guard, earning the Navy and Marine Corps Medal, NAM. In May 2002, he joined the 3rd Angelico, which stands for the Air Naval Gunfire Liaison Company, United States Marine Corps Reserve Unit, but was then quickly recalled back into active duty in December 2002 and was deployed to Kuwait on January 20, 2003 for the Iraq invasion. During that time of active duty, he also served with the HMM 262, which is the Marine Medium Helicopter Squadron 262, and the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit, participating in Operation Iraqi Freedom and the Global War on Terrorism. Mr. Rubio was honorably discharged on October 20, 2003, with the rank of sergeant. Also to note, he is extremely proud of his son, who has faced some special needs since a young child, but who is now in high school and doing very well, playing football and tennis. Mr. Rubio, is a volunteer tennis coach for high school. Noe Rubio is currently the junior vice commander of Gardena VFW Post 3261, a master mason at the Gardena Moneta Lodge. He is currently employed by the Department of Defense. So, Mr. Rubio, before we read your bio here, before we let you speak, Councilmember Medina will present you with a special coin here.
Thank you.
Oh.
Actually, there is. Thank you for coming out here. I know it wasn't for me, but while you're out here, just wanted to recognize, remember, oh. Yes, thank you for coming out here. One thing that's very dear to my heart is being in the Marine Corps. Whenever you see a veteran out there, whatever branch, Marine Corps, Air Force, Navy, Coast Guard, did I mention Army? Air Force? All you guys. Remember, we signed an oath that we are willing to give our life for your freedom. And that's something that I don't take lightly, and you shouldn't either. But just remember that when you see a veteran, it's thank them. That's all I ask for. It's thank you for your service. It's that simple. Not for your money, just a sincere thank you. And thank you for tonight. That's all I got.
Before we applaud him, I have an error here. neglected to see the second page here, and I want to mention some of the medals and awards here. The Meritorious Unit Commendation, the Armed Forces Reserve Medal, Combat Action Ribbon, Global War on Terrorism Expeditionary Medal, Presidential Unit Citation, Overseas Deployment Ribbon, 3 awards, U.S. Marine Good Conduct Medal, 2 awards, the Meritorious Masters, I believe that's an award, that was 3 awards, Letter of Appreciation, 2 letters, Sea Service Deployment Ribbon, Rifle Expert Marksmanship, the Naval Marine Achievement Medal. And in regards to units here, I did mention those earlier, and the wars that you participated in were the Operation Iraqi Freedom and the Global War on Terrorism. So now everybody may applaud him.
While Councilman Medina is presenting his medal, I'd like to read a certificate from Assemblyman Elmer Succi, a certificate of recognition to Noe Rubio, United States Marine Corps, in recognition and celebration of your dedication and service to the United States of America, and wish sincere appreciation for your selfless acts of courage. Congratulations, Assemblyman Succi.
Thank you, Mr. Tanaka.
You're welcome. Thank you. Semper Fi.
Hoorah. Number 5. Okay.
This is from Assemblyman Elmer Succi.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's give a round of applause.
Cut.
Okay, next we have proclamation that is for the Cinco de Mayo celebration. Do we have representatives from Cinco de Mayo? Who's here today?
They're in the back.
Besides Councilmember Medina? If you guys can come forward while we read the proclamation here. This proclamation states, whereas from the time the New World was colonized, all the nations of Europe shipped enormous amounts of gold and silver across the Atlantic from Mexico during the time the country was ruled by Spain. And whereas when the people of Mexico rebelled against Spain and formed an independent government, all the European nations, anticipating that this independence would fail, facilitated huge financial loans to the Mexican government, hoping to collect much more in return, making Mexico become heavily indebted financially to Spain, Great Britain, and France. And whereas when both Spain and Great Britain threatened to invade Mexico, the French took advantage of this opportunity to expand their empire under Napoleon III, and in 1862 began advancing its armed forces from Veracruz into the state of Puebla with the intention of capturing its capital. The city of Puebla, however, the people of Puebla, under the leadership of General Ignacio Zaragoza, were ready to fight, and as the French troops began their attack on the city of Puebla on May 5th, the Mexican soldiers accomplished their first defeat of the French. And whereas in the independence of the Mexican people really began with the Battle of Puebla, thus Cinco de Mayo remains a landmark date in the history of Mexico. And whereas among the many ethnic groups within our city, those of Mexican descent have been the most prominent and deeply rooted in the history of both the city of Gardena and the state of California. Therefore, the city of Gardena hereby proclaims Saturday, May 5th, 2018, to be the 32nd annual Cinco de Mayo celebration day. And the city of Gardena, and further urge the entire citizenry to be aware of the special celebrations and to encourage participation in the community parade and festival activities planned to be memorialized this most significant historical and cultural event. Would you like to say anything?
Yes. I'd like to thank the mayor and council and staff, Pauline Moses and Susie Santana. And first of all, the council for proclaiming Cinco de Mayo. And I'd like to present the committee, which is standing up here. And last year's queen, which is Lucia Ordonez, and this year's queen is Nancy Morales, and the princess is Dulce Ordonez. Would like to thank our committee. I'd like to thank our committee, and also to invite the audience to attend our Cinco de Mayo parade and festival, and which this year falls actually on the 5th of May, which is a Saturday. Our celebrity this year is celebrity Grand Marshal is El Mandril, which is a DJ from Radio Central 93.9. And our community Grand Marshal is Rosie Navarro. And this year, the parade starts at 10 o'clock on Gardena Boulevard. So we'd like to invite the people, audience and people present to participate and to observe the parade. Also, which will end at Masfukai Park, where the festivities will start, and there will be music, entertainment, mariachis, folclóricos, dancers, and food, of course. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next up is another proclamation here, Safety Seat Checkup Week, May 6th through May 12th, 2018. The number one preventable cause of death and injury involving children and young adults is an automobile collision. More than 90 child passengers under the age of 15 are killed, and more than 10,000 injured in automobile collisions in California each year. Up to 71% of these children will be alive today if they had been properly restrained in their crash-tested car safety seats and safety belts. In the state of California, the state of California requires that all children be properly restrained in child safety seats or safety belts in the back seat of motor vehicles until they are at least 8 years of age, and that all other occupants must be properly restrained in safety belts. Safety Seat Checkup Week is May 6th through May 12th, 2018. It's sponsored and supported jointly by the California Office of Traffic Safety, the Pomona Police Department, Toyota Motor North America, Anaheim Global Medical Center, the Peace Officers Association of Los Angeles County, and Safety Belt Safe USA. Therefore, the City of Gardena hereby proclaims May 6th through May 12th to be Safety Seat Checkup Week, and urge all Gardena citizens to make use of all our resources available to prevent passengers, especially innocent children, from suffering unnecessary tragic injury or death as a result of a traffic accident. So there is a free safety seatbelt checkup event on Saturday, May 12th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. In the city of Anaheim at the Anaheim Global Medical Center, if you'd like to know more information about that. Okay, and next up is appointments. Does any member of the council have any appointments to be made to any commissions, committees, boards, or council? Yes, I do. Okay, Councilmember Medina.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to appoint to the Gardena Youth Commission Ms. Lucia Ordonez.
Okay, are there any other appointments tonight? If not, can I get a motion to appoint Ms. Ordonez?
I already did.
I'm sorry, a second.
Second.
My apology.
Second.
Okay. Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Medina and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka. Will you please call the roll? I have to get used to that.
Me too.
Councilmember Medina,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka,
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Councilmember Cascanian,
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Okay, and at this time, I believe she would need to be sworn in.
Speak into the microphone. Okay, we are now going to administer the oath. I
I, Lucia Ordonez,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support,
that I will support
oh, please raise your hand, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Thank you. And defend the Constitution
and defend the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of California
of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
foreign and domestic,
that I will bear
that I will bear
true faith and allegiance
true faith and allegiance
to the Constitution
to the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution
and the Constitution
of the State of California,
of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without any mental
without any mental
reservation or purpose
reservation or purpose
of evasion,
and
that I will
well
well and faithfully
and faithfully
discharge
discharge
the duties upon which I am about to enter.
am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Ordonez, would you like to say anything?
I just want to say thank you to all of the council people. Thank you for this opportunity.
All right, well, thank you. Okay, next up is the consent calendar. Does any member of the council wish to discuss any item separately? If not, can I get a motion to approve the consent calendar as is?
So moved.
Second.
Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Medina and a second by Councilmember Cascanian. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Medina,
Yes.
Councilmember Cascanian,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka,
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Okay, and since we don't have any items for number 6 for excluding consent calendar, I'd like to make a quick change tonight. I'd like to take an item out of order here, item number 8A1. And if there's no objection to that, if you guys don't mind, I'd like to just take this item first here. All right. So item number 8A1, Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor Serta, members of the City Council. Agenda number 8A1 is a second agreement to economic assistance with Casino LLC, Larry Flint's Lucky Lady Casino. By way of background, I presented a small presentation to share, to provide some assistance in the council and the community members to understand the purposes of this agreement. Keep in mind, in addition to the information that you have in your package, under Government Code Section 53083, there's a comprehensive financial report that goes along with this presentation. So, first slide. So I just want to give a little bit of perspective on, why the city would want to enter into agreement and the importance of the contributions that both casinos have made to the city of Gardena. Next slide. So just give some broad perspectives. The total revenue since 2000 to 2018, and mostly of this is coming from the Hustler Casino and some with the Lucky Lady Casino in the last short period of time that has been on the ownership of Casino LLC. That has contributed approximately $135 million to the economy of the city of Gardena. In addition to that, the total investments that Mr. Flint has made in acquiring the licenses and the buildings that comprise both the Hustler Casino and the Lucky Lady Casino is approximately $100 million. In addition to that, he's our largest employer with employing over 1,200 employees directly and hundreds of employees indirectly through third-party banking and other people who serve the casino. Lastly, casinos operate very effectively when they're marketed well, and it's estimated that Mr. Flint has spent over $80 million marketing the casino operations, both at Hustler and the Lucky Lady Casino. Next slide. So talk a little bit about why we're here and what the potential use is for this economic incentive agreement. What you see before you is a map of the current Lucky Lady property. It is a substantial piece of property, one of the largest properties in the city of Gardena. And there's two yellow boxes there that I want to draw your attention to. The first one in the upper right-hand portion of this photo is a approximately 3-acre site that would be used for the development of real estate, most currently being discussed by KB Homes. And as we well know, KB Homes just finished a new field development not far from the casino at Rosecrans in Normandy that it's approximately 96 units that has done very well and has almost completely sold out. The other area in question is the area to the west and a little bit south of that, where it says option 1 and option 2. That is a site that Mr. Flint has looked at as a potential redevelopment site to add additional amenities and also opportunities for the use of that property. Keeping in mind that one of the big concerns that has been relayed is to make sure that there's ample parking for casino operations, to ensure that his patrons for the casino don't have to look for parking, they can park on site. So we have spent many months negotiating, next slide, we've spent many months negotiating different options for the development of these underutilized properties. But I want to draw your perspective to our first economic development agreement that was signed in August about 2016. And it's running through July 31st, 2024. In this agreement, the city agreed to share gross revenue in excess of $2 million per month. And then there was a 1% monthly gross repayment on a loan. That was developed, but really the incentives that have really been realized by Casino LLC has been very small. Well, not estimated, it's approximately $27,000. So if you think about some of the numbers that I have talked about in the $100 million mark and the $135 million in revenue to the city, it has been pretty insignificant. So what we looked at is a couple different options to allow Mr. Flint, number one, to have additional cash flow to develop these properties and to add to his unused property. The first one, and is the city's biggest desire, is to add a casino on the property, and we call that option 1. And what that would do is that would extend the terms from April 1st, 2018 to January 31st, 2026. The city reimbursement rate would drop from the $2 million on the previous to the $1 million per month, which is $1 million. The loan repayment of the big $27 million would be waived. And what we're looking for here is hopefully a development that includes at a minimum of 70 rooms, but hopefully possibly 100 rooms on that property.
I believe you said casino instead of hotel.
Hotel development. Thank you, Mr. Medina. So that's our first and certainly the one that has been incentivized the most under this option. Knowing that, a lot of different things come into play, we provided some basic financial information on this slide, although it is in much greater detail in the staff report that is attached to your agenda item. The one thing that we weren't able to determine on this is, what sales tax revenue a potential hotel would add, and that you'll see the additional sales tax revenue on some of the other options that we have estimated to be. But in addition to the most important thing of a hotel option, which is TOT, transitory occupancy tax, which comes directly to the city, there are also some other fees that we need to consider and are very important. One, the property tax revenue that we would additionally receive as a result of the residential property he's developing on the north side of the property. We estimate to be at a minimum $55,000, but that does not include other fees that include such as utility users tax, motor vehicle license fee, and then whatever sales tax revenue those additional homes would add to the Gardena community. Also, there's substantial building and plan check fees that would be paid by the developer, which are estimated to be about $250,000. In aggregate, if it ran the entire duration, the city would be providing an incentive of about $3.9 million. That does not include the takeaways from the one-time building fees or any of the other tax revenues that I've discussed. Option 2 is the second option that we discussed. What is separate from option 2, once again, the term is accepted from 2018 to 2026, and the increase from what the baseline would be would go from $1 million to $1.25 million if he develops a mixed retail shopping center. Now, that would drop to $1 million if he were to develop certain aspects of that business that have been highly desired by the communities in the north. So I can give you some examples: a full-service bank, a full-service restaurant, a grocery store, an office depot, or some kind of tax-producing entity like that. Or if there's a development through a combination of a number of different efforts, is able to develop tax revenue that at least meets, I'm trying to look here for a second, that would at least meet 45% of the TOT that the current Best Western is producing, and as we all know, that's doing particularly well. So that would be option 2. The impact on that would be slightly less because the change from $1 million to $1.25 would cause a lesser economic incentive, and we estimate to be 2.42%. The plan check fees still are about the same for the residential component, but on the building side component, and we use very low figures, it would be between $70,000 and $140,000. We also estimate the same sales property tax revenue to be at $55,000, but increasing the sales tax revenue, which is previously deleted in the other option, to approximately $122,000. In the event that nothing occurs as a result of all of this, options 1 and 2 will go away. They'll be null and void, and what we would go back is to the original agreement that we had on file in 2016. Overall, the city staff has looked at the options and the synergy that is created by increased development along Rosecrans, as we have witnessed firsthand with the synergy that occurred with the development, the Hustler property and casino, and how along Redondo Beach Boulevard to the west, many businesses have opened up as a result of the new economic investment in this area. So it is staff's recommendation that we approve and authorize the city manager to execute this agreement. What you're required to do at this time is conduct a public hearing and approve the second economic assistance agreement and allow the city manager to sign the document. I do know that Mr. Flynn is present here in the front row, and I believe would like to speak on the matter when the mayor, you're ready for that.
Okay, thank you. So this is a public hearing. The hearing is now open. Before we go to comments from city council members, Madam City Clerk, I do have one request here. Are there any others besides this one?
No, there are no others.
Okay, so at this time, we have Mr. Larry Flint, who is in the audience with us, who would like to speak on this item.
Thank all of you for inviting me. We can talk about the project down there. Unfortunately, the last month I've been pretty sick. I'm hoping that's over now, but I think it's miraculous what everyone has done. That goes to show you when the city is working together with the business, and everyone knows what they're doing and realizes that there's a rainbow at the end for everybody. And they're working together, and a great deal can be accomplished. Now, 20 years ago, when I first seen the broken down, bankrupt El Dorado Club up on the corner where Hustler is now, I thought it's a great location for a casino. Why hasn't somebody put one there? Well, I got to doing some research, and there's a great deal of problems with within the community where everybody had a different idea of what they wanted to see. There was some disruptions as they can be in government or the city in terms of management, and nobody could get on the right plane to make something happen. The other thing, which was a big concern, is there was a lot of strife in the community, and many of you are residents here, you know what I was talking about, because there were some problems within the government, and you had your problems, financial problems, as business has those problems too. But as the quality of management and concern among the citizens of the county, everybody started to realize the importance of the people, and we started pulling together. And many of the financial difficulties that the city was going through curtailed the ability to clean up the finances in the community, and everybody got to working together and realized the potential. If they got the casino and a good operator, and they started doing something about the crime in the area, as the crime continued to operate, sort of became a lot less of a factor, and people that used to see Gardena as a problem to a certain extent, the community began to mean something to the people that were citizens within the community. And as good people come to good management in the city, I never saw so people work so hard for the city to try and make things happen. And as everybody continued to work together, everybody seemed to be on the straight path. And as soon as Hustler proved a huge success, we was given the city a lot of money, and you guys were no longer facing that dark cloud of bankruptcy as you began to dig your way out because of the tax revenue you were getting from the casino. And fortunately, we got a lot of help from the city. And we managed to straighten a lot out here. Now, I know from the people that worked with the city before, they wanted the previous owners of the Normandy, they wanted them since 1947, and trying to get them to develop this area. So when I bought the Normandy, I didn't just buy the building. We bought the entire parcel, that the 12.5 acres that the building sat on. We completely rebuilt the structure, the Normandy, renamed it. We felt that was necessary. And I don't think Norman and if we were serious at either house we get started, but we immediately began laying a plan to build up the community. And we're going to be bringing in a lot of very positive mainland businesses, people that you'd see there. I'm not giving you these names as people that are bringing their businesses here, but you'll see places like Wendy's or state-of-the-art hotel, and references like and food. We're talking with 2 food chains now about coming in here, and as they join us and the city, was the possibility of expanding this whole area. That's going to really add to the appeal of other businesses to come into this area. Now, I know many of you know that people have a different opinion of Hustler and the development as it's going forward ahead. That it's going to be much more attractive than it was before. So we're hoping that we'll have a continued relationship with the city and that we can work with you. And we'll be working together. And I think that's going to spell a lot of success. The most important thing that you can do to help us is see that everybody cooperates. The police department, the city government, because we want the same thing that you guys want. We want low crime. We want people interested in business in this area. If you have any effort to know more, you're going to get involved more, feel free to talk to me or Rob Reed, who is the general manager at Hustler, and we'll provide you with anything you need. If you have any questions where you're curious about how serious we are seeing that things are done right, just give me a call. Thank you for the opportunity to come in. Anybody have any questions?
Well, no, just a comment. Mr. Flint, I just want to thank you for your the contributions of your businesses for the past 20 years, and I'm looking forward to this new agreement. I think it's going to be a win-win for your company as well as ours. So.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Does any member of the members of the council have any questions or comments at this time? If not, I'm going to close the hearing at this time. And if I can get well, actually, I'll make the motion to approve the Second Amendment to the Economic Assistance Agreement with Larry Flint's Lucky Lady Casino and authorize the city manager to sign. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by myself and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka. Will you call the roll, please?
Mayor Serta?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka?
Yes.
Councilmember Medina?
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Councilmember, excuse me, Cascanian.
Yes.
Okay, you'll be able to move forward with that item there. I'm sorry? Mayor Pro Tem Medina, you want to make a quick comment?
Mr. Flint, the city of Gardena really does appreciate the efforts that you have put into this city. I can see good things happening at the Lucky Lady and in the properties. Being an ex-gambler, I can see things like a hotel with great merchants underneath it, as they do in the Las Vegas hotels, restaurants. So I really look forward to seeing your vision, to see what you have in store for us there, especially with all the things that are coming to the South Bay, with the football stadium, with the Dodger Stadium getting the baseball major leagues, with soccer, with all the things that are coming to the South Bay. I see that you have the vision to bring a place where people want to stop, stay, go visit these other venues, and come back and stay some more, and probably gamble at your casinos. Because if you have not been to the Hustler or the Lucky Lady, they are quality, they are fine, they are clean. They're just like Las Vegas. They're places where you really feel safe to go to. So we thank you so much for what you're trying to do for our city to keep us in the black. So thank you so much.
Okay.
Mayor, may I just say one quick thing?
Sure.
I'd just like to acknowledge two people that I worked we worked together pretty much every day trying to work this out, and Spencer and Adi, who are in the front row, did a great job working with the city, collaborating, representing their Mr. Flint very, very well, but also working together with the city to find some solutions. And I think overall, as one of you on the bench said, it's a win-win for both. So thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We appreciate that.
It's a World Series of poker.
Okay, so now we're going to go back to our agenda here, back to item number 7A1, which is the Planning and Environmental Quality Commission action sheet. Item number 7A1, which is the conditional use permit for 13-7. Does any member of the council have any call for review or appeal at this time? If not, I'd like to go ahead and receive and file this item here. And move on to oral communications. Tonight we have 4 speakers. We're going to begin with Jorge Guadique from GDAP. And immediately following that, I believe the name is Haberry Smith, will be our second speaker. And after that will be Benjamin Butler, and then lastly we'll have Cheryl Sherman. Just like to remind everybody that you do have 3 minutes to speak. When the yellow light comes on, that lets you know that your 2 minutes are up. When the red light comes on, that notifies you that your 3 minutes are up, and at that time, please just finish your statement. Jorge, go ahead.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, City Council, staff, and all those in attendance, and on YouTube as well. I'd like to start off by giving you an update on what the GDAP and the High School Task Force have been doing this month. Last week, Friday, was April 20th, which is a day that's notoriously known for being a big marijuana smoking holiday. The High School Task Force, along with GDAP and other community partners, held a rally in the morning at the Gardena High School. They educated their fellow peers on the dangers of abusing marijuana, especially focused on the dangers of driving under the influence of marijuana and other drugs. I'd like to thank the mayor, Ms. Tasha Serta, for coming out during lunch and helping host the lunchtime activities at that time. I would also, at this time, like to extend an invite to the entire council this Thursday. I know it's coming out very quickly. This Thursday, The South Bay Communities Creating Change, which is a prevention coalition that GDAP and ADAP are a part of, is hosting a press conference event to educate the community on the dangers of abusing prescription drugs. I've been here a few times to speak on the issue. South Bay Communities Creating Change has been working on the issue for a very long time now, and it's all culminating with members of the DEA coming to speak, members of the Thelma McMillan Center, which is a substance abuse addiction treatment center, and representatives from the Department of Public Health, LA County Substance Abuse Prevention and Control Division. This event is happening on April 26th, as mentioned, and it's beginning right at 10 a.m., so we are asking for those who are attending to please arrive at 9:45 so we can begin right at 10 a.m. I do have a flyer for the entire council and staff with more information as needed. Thank you to Gardena for our support, for your support in our drug abuse prevention efforts. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we're going to have Haubery Smith. And this is in regards to the to the prescription city take-back.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Council, and staff. I'm Haley Smith. And
I'm Jay Davis Hurt.
We're with ADAP Project Choice and GDAP, and we wanted to remind you guys about the prescription take back this weekend. It's Saturday, April 28th.
It'll be right here at the Gardena PD station, and it'll be from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So if you guys have any unused or expired prescriptions that you'll no longer need, we'd like to ask for those donations to the Gardena Police Department for your support. And we also have flyers for you guys with more information.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, Benjamin Butler.
Am I on? Okay. My name is Benjamin Butler, and I'm at 2812 West 146th Street. And I'm here, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. I want to discuss the need for a four-way stop at 147th Street and Dublin. At that corner, there's a house that is a halfway house that houses developmentally disabled people. At that house, they sometimes have to take those people out of there on a trip and take them back. Now, I noticed the vans sometimes have to load and unload on 147th Street, not on Dublin. I know this because I've walked by there 3 or 4 times a day with my wife and dogs. Also, there's deliveries made off 147th Street, not on Dublin. Now, the special needs people living there, they're very well supervised, but sometimes they do get out of hand, not that much. And it's most important to slow these cars down and stop them so these special needs people can be safe. And I've noticed that cars go very, very fast. They just don't care. I've noticed the cars will go around and pass on the wrong side of the street sometimes. Now, I think it's important to put a four-way stop at that corner at 147th and Dublin, or there's going to be a serious problem there if one of those special needs students, adults, gets away. And I have a lot of experience. I used to teach special needs, so I understand the needs of these people. And I think it's an accident waiting to happen if you don't put a four-way stop on that corner. It's very important. And it's up to you. I know they don't stop for me, but I can get across the street. And the cars, they don't care. And that little red sign that says, thank you, 30 miles an hour, and it says too fast, 31, 32. I see more red on that sign than I do green. Now, the chief told me that he's working on it to flag the area with tickets and tollways and kind of control the speeders. But that corner does need a four-way stop. It's the house, the halfway house is at the southwest corner. And that's all I have today.
Go ahead and finish your comment. You can finish your sentence.
Well, that's most important. That's why I'm here, to talk about that.
Okay.
And it's up to you folks to, it's in your hands.
Okay, thank you. I do know the chief is looking into this. City manager, if you can just make sure we all get a report back, because I know this sort of situation takes a little time.
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Next speaker is, I believe it was Cheryl Sherman.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Cheryl Sherman, Vice President of Friends of Gardena Willows Wetland Preserve. This month is Earth Month, and it's been a great Earth Month so far, but we still have more time and more activities. And this coming Saturday, April 28th, will be our final activity to celebrate Earth Month, and it's an exciting one. It is also Save the Frog Day. Okay? And this is a yearly event. And this year, the preserve will be open from 1 to 4 for everyone to come. But we're also going to have someone there who can talk all about the frogs and be able to identify different frogs and share with you knowledgeable information. I'm out and excited to learn because I don't know about frogs other than I talk to them and I tell them I hear them. Keep talking to me. So I can say that I know it's going to be fun and exciting for both adults and children. And if you haven't been to the preserve, this is a wonderful opportunity to come. The weather supposedly is going to be nice on Saturday. So I encourage you to come to the preserve for Earth Day, for self-guided tours from 1 to 4. And it's free admission, and I always like to remind you that the preserve is federally protected, so it's your property. All of us own it. The other thing I'd like to share is in May, a little ways ahead, but for you, those of you who like to book things out on your calendar, our second Sunday stroll in May will be on May 13th, which is Mother's Day. So if you don't have any plans for something special for Mom, and she happens to enjoy gardens, and she happens to enjoy nature, or she happens to enjoy frogs and birdies and butterflies, or you're thinking about a solar fountain. We have just put a brand new solar fountain in Mother Nature's backyard garden, and it is beautiful. So I invite everyone to come, and it's easy to do. You can do it yourself in your own home yard. And you'll attract the birds because we're watching them now come and take their little baths. So that's May the 13th, and have a good weekend.
Thank you. Okay, next up is item number 8A2, Mr. City Manager.
Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, agenda number 8A2 is ordinance number 1793, amending chapter 2.62 of the Gardena Municipal Code relating to the investment of city funds. In about 1995, the financial state of many California municipalities was problematic for a variety of issues, specifically mostly mismanagement. Due to the volatile financial stability during this time, the City of Gardena adopted ordinance number 1486, prohibiting the use of a broker-dealer, or investment advisor for the investment of the city's surplus funds. A review of the ordinances of other South Bay cities found that no other city has placed such a restriction on investment of the funds. Staff believes that the use of such services would be beneficial to the city's financial well-being. Proposed amendments to Chapter 2.62 being submitted for council considerations are: repeal Section 2.62.010, which currently prohibits the use of brokers, broker-dealers, or investment advisors in connection with the investment of any city surplus funds. Renumber Section 2.62.020 and remove language referring to the investment of city funds in treasury bills and government notes, and instead provide a directive to invest in accordance with the city's investments policy, which was adopted by the City Council. Proposed changes were discussed and recommended for approval at the March 1st, 2018 Finance Committee meeting, which they were approved. Just as a matter of note, this is not changing our investment policy. This is our ability to use financial advisors to help us position our excess funds in the best vehicles possible that are consistent with the city's investment policy. In other words, our outdated policy no longer fits the mechanism and the model we should be using to affect the best interest rates on our excess funds. What is required is to introduce ordinance number 1793.
Okay, thank you. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments at this time? Councilmember Henderson?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Mr. City Manager, in regards to us repealing this ordinance so we can start using brokerage services, we don't have any idea which brokerage firm we're going to use at this time. I just wanted to make sure that there's nobody waiting in the wings on that. And also, because we're going to keep our financial policies in place, the Finance Committee and City Manager can still veto a recommendation from a broker if they say we want to start going into cryptocurrency or blockchains and everything. We can still say the final say of, no, we'd rather stay something conservative.
Well, the government specifically provides on some of the specific, financial vehicles that we can apply. Certainly, cryptocurrency, futures, those kind of things are certainly not our investment policy. The city ultimately retains the right to invest the money as it sees fits, with concurrence with the city treasurer.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments? If not, can I get someone to introduce this ordinance?
So moved. So, second.
I just need an introduction, so that was okay. Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka will introduce ordinance number 1793. Okay, item number 8A3, Mr. City Manager.
Mayor, sir, the members of the City Council, agenda item 8A3. 8A3, sorry about that. I got ahead of myself. Is City Council approval for the costs associated with the INSB JPA membership assessment for fiscal year 2017 and 2018. As per resolution number 6227, authorizing a joint powers agreement to establish a joint powers agency to create a wide area interoperable public safety communications network, the City of Gardena entered into that joint powers agreement, creating the interoperable network of the South Bay, which represents predominantly almost all the independent South Bay cities. As part of the agreement, and once the INSB became operational, the owning members of the South Bay Regional Public Communications Authority would have any costs associated with INSB included as it's part of its annual assessment with the authority. As you remember, our primary dispatch and communication services provided by the South Bay Regional Public Communications Authority, and by joining INSB, what it has done is it expanded our ability not only to talk within our own city and other surrounding cities, but INSB will allow us to talk to pretty much every city anywhere in Los Angeles County and even outside of some of the county areas, because we will all be on one interoperable system. You can drive from here to Pomona and never have a break in coverage, and it would be just as clear as if you were transmitting from the City of Gardena. Although Joining the INSB does come up with an additional cost, which is $51,701.58, which is funded through the general fund and will be budgeted. And this is for the approval of the associated cost INSB, which will actually be paid through our assessment with the South Bay Regional Public Communications Authority.
Thank you. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments at this time? Let's go here. Councilmember Medina?
No, I'm glad you said that the RCC is also involved in that, because I remember we were expanding as we went along, and this makes it even better, so we can cover all of Southern California. So I'm really happy about that.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So as the chair of the South Bay Communications and a retired police officer, this system will really enhance officer safety, it'll enhance public safety, and it allows us to stay in tune with other agencies as they leapfrog. So it's really a good program. So I'm glad that we're actually getting into this.
In addition to those things, the system does provide a significant level of security. Our frequencies will not be open to the public, compromising public safety. They will all be digitalized and encrypted.
Okay, if there are no other questions or comments, I'd like to get a motion to approve the INSB JPA cost.
So moved.
Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Medina and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Medina.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
And Councilmember Cascanian.
Yes.
And Mayor Serta.
Yes. Next up is item number 8A4. Mr. City Manager.
Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, agenda number 8A4 is a professional services agreement with AdminSure, Inc. to provide third-party administration for the City of Gardenia's self-insured workman's compensation claims. AdminSure, Inc. is a provider of third-party admin services for the City of Gardenia's workman's compensation. They've had that contract for quite some time, actually since 2007. The contract expired on November 1st, 2017, and the renewal will extend the contract services through October 31st, 2022. Since being originally awarded the city's contract, AdminSure has been successful in streamlining the injury reporting process by facilitating communication between the departments in injury reporting, reducing the number of litigated claims, and instituting quarterly file reviews of current indemnity and litigated claims. Staff recommends the approval of the renewal of this contract, as staff is pleased with the performance of the third-party administrator who's familiar with the city's current claims. Employees are also been very happy with the processing of their claims. Claims administration fee is based on 148 claims at a flat rate of $59.60 per open claim per month, with a 3% cost of living adjustment for each additional year of the agreement. There is no general fund impact. This should be approved by the, what is required by the council is approve the contract renewal.
Okay, thank you. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments at this time? If not, can I get a motion to approve the agreement with AdminSure, Inc.?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Medina and a second by Councilmember Henderson. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Medina.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka.
Yes.
Councilmember Cascanian.
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Next up is item number 8A5. Mr. City Manager.
Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, agenda number 885 is resolution number 6320, opposing the Tax Fairness, Transparency, and Accountability Act of 2018. This act is an initiative sponsored by the American Beverage Association, the Trade Association of Soda Companies, and the California Business Roundtable, an organization that represents some of the largest interest groups in California. The initiative would drastically reduce local revenue authority by increasing voting requirements for general taxes to 2/3 approval, and it applies retroactively and may void local measures approved by local voters on or after July 1st, 2018. The measure would amend the rules for how states and local government can impose taxes, fees, and other charges by doing the following. expand the definition of tax. The measure would increase the number of revenue proposals subject to the higher state and local voting requirements for taxes. It increased the vote threshold for some local taxes. Measure increases vote threshold for increasing some local taxes. Specifically, the measure required that increases in local general tax be approved by a 2/3 vote of the electorate, whether sought by local government or by citizen initiative. It also specifies allowable uses of revenue in certain cases. The measure requires tax to include a statement of how the revenues can be spent. If the revenue is to be used for general purposes, the law must state that the revenue can be used for unrestricted general fund revenue purposes. Initiative would make it harder for local citizens and communities to hold individual and businesses responsible for costs and fees related to items like pollution, rising health care costs, fire hazards, use of emergency services, and the destruction of private property. This act is being highly opposed by the California League of Cities, who has asked cities to join them in opposing this resolution. What is required is for the City Council to adopt Resolution number 6320.
Okay. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments at this time? Councilmember Henderson?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to say in response to this, us adopting this resolution, Contract Cities of California as well as Independent Cities Association of California are also in opposition to this as well, along with the League of California Cities. So I think up and down the state, everybody agrees that this is not a good idea. So I'm pretty sure I understand how our vote's going to go, but I'm definitely, this is not a good idea. So I'm glad we're opposing this.
Any other comments or questions at this time? If not, can I get a motion to adopt resolution number 6320?
So moved. Second.
Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Medina and a second by Councilmember Henderson. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Medina,
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka,
Yes.
Councilmember Kaskanian,
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Next up is item number 8B1. Mr. City Manager.
Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, agenda number 8B1 is an adoption of ordinance number 1792, amending Chapter 18.40 of the Gardena Municipal Code related to off-street parking and loading, and Chapter 18.68 of the Gardena Municipal Code related to transportation demand management. This was introduced by Councilman Henderson at the April 10, 2018 council meeting. The primary changes in this ordinance are to bring the city's municipal code into compliance with the parking standards for accessible parking requirements by the California Building Code and the parking requirements for vehicles and bicycles required in the California Green Building Standards Code. On March 6, 2018, the Planning Commission held a duly noticed public hearing, reviewed the proposed changes, and recommended the City Council adopt item number 1792. Ordinance number 1792 was introduced, and what is required now is to finally adopt the ordinance number 1792.
Does any member of the council have any questions or comments on this item? If not, can I get a motion to adopt ordinance number 1792?
So moved.
Second.
I'm sorry, that was, okay. Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Henderson and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Henderson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka,
Yes.
Councilmember Medina,
Yes.
Councilmember Kaskanian,
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Okay, next up is item number 8B2.
Mayor Serta, members of the City Council, item 8B2A is a review by Mayor Serta of the Commission action and the conditional use permit for number 317 and a site plan review number 4-18 and management plan for the construction of a 10,410 square foot 20-unit single-room occupancy housing development in the industrial M1 zone located at 139th Street and Normandy. I do have a short presentation that I will bring up to explain the project in greater detail. The applicant requests approval of a conditional use permit and site plan review for the construction of a new 10,410 square foot building. It's a 20-unit single-room occupancy housing development in the industrial M1 zone. The actual address is 13919 South Normandy Avenue. So a little bit of a background. The Planning Commission approved the project on March 20th, 2018. On April 4th, 2018, a call for review of the Planning Commission action was submitted by Mayor Serta. So everyone is really familiar with the location we're talking about. The map behind me is the parcel in question. To kind of put you a little bit at reference, to the north there is sort of the Patio Inn motel. Across the street there is some townhouses. Just diagonally across the street there's their hamburger restaurant there in the corner. It's located at 139th and Vermont. The next photo shows a view of the project location from the 139th Street side. I can tell you I've been in this city for a long time, and for as long as I could possibly remember, this site has been vacant and surrounded by fence, completely underutilized. The next picture is a picture of the site from the Normandy side. Once again, you can tell it's been underutilized and has been sitting vacant for quite some time. Let me tell you a little bit about the project description. The development of a 3-story, 10,410 square foot building. It's a 20-unit single-room occupancy. Each unit is about 350 square feet and includes a full bathroom, kitchen, and wash and dryer combo, sort of the European style. The ground floor units have a private patio. There are 2 common space areas, a fitness room and a bike storage room, 1 parking space for each unit, and 2 spaces for the manager's unit, which is required by the code. A little bit about site plan, just to kind of orient you to how the project will look. 139th Street is up towards the top of the slide, which wraps around along Normandy. The next slide actually provides a real good detailed view of what this project will look like. So if you can recall, a vacant piece of land will look like this. And as you see, there's plenty of nice architectural features as well as landscaping, the ground floor having access and even probably enough room for small little gardens and a significant improvement of the aesthetics of that area. So let's talk about how the conditional use permit and the analysis that was done. There's 2 columns here, and I'll just refer to both so we can refer what's required and what was proposed. The setback requirements are in full compliance. The side is actually exceeded by 5. The side in the street level meets the compliance, and the rear is exceeded as well. The dwelling unit sizes is 350 square feet as previously described. It meets the code. There'll be 1 space unit and 19 spaces altogether. There's 2 spaces for each manager's unit. Going further down to the next side, the floor area ratio is 1, and it is actually falls below the actual maximum requirement at 0.68. The maximum height is 35 feet, which is met. The separate closet is met. The laundry facilities are met. The rental agreements are 1 month or longer, which has been met. The maximum tenants are 2 persons per unit, which has been met. The toilet and bathroom facilities have been met as 1 unit, and the common area has been exceeded. The minimum common area is only 200 square feet, and they're providing 800 square feet of common area. As part of this development, as we do with most developments, a traffic analysis was conducted by Linscott Law and Greenspan engineers and showed that there's no adverse traffic impacts that are admitted, and a formal study is not required. This was actually analyzed for a higher density and still did not create the adverse traffic impact, although the developer has lowered the density. So even at the higher density, it does meet the traffic requirements. Why are these kind of projects important? In order to facilitate meeting our regional housing need allocations, which we call RHNA goals, SROs are allowed in the industrial zone. This is also a project that is considered with our general plan goal and policy, specifically housing element goal number 5.0, which promotes equal opportunity for all residents to reside in the housing of their choice, and housing element policy 5.2, which supports accessible residential design that facilitates the use of housing units by all persons regarding age and disability status. In terms of the CEQA compliance, this project is categorically exempt from the provisions of the California Environmental Quality Act, or CEQA, pursuant to guidelines 15.332 infill development project. The proposed project is not categorized under California Environmental Quality Act Guidelines, Section 15300.2 exceptions. The property management plan was approved, and the management plan must address management and operation of the facility, rental procedures, safety and security of all the residents, and building maintenance. A 24-hour resident manager shall be provided with a single-room occupancy with 10 or more units, which they will comply with. The staff recommends that you open the public hearing, receive testimony, which the project developer is here, and then adopt resolution number 6319 upholding the Planning Commission's decision to approve conditional use permits 3.17, site plan review 4.18, subject to the attached conditions of approval, and the property management plan, and direct staff to file a notice of exemption as an infill development. At this point, the applicant requests the approval of the conditional use permit as previously described, and that we move forward with opening the public hearing, receive testimony from the public, and at the end of the day, adopt resolution number 6319.
Okay, thank you. So at this time, we're going to go ahead and open the public hearing. And before I let the council members ask any questions, I believe was mentioned that the developer is present. Would the developer like to say anything at this time? If so, you can please come forward.
Good evening. How are you doing? We are very happy to come to Gardena and propose this project. I think the location of the project on the corner of 139th and Normandy will add very nice character to that intersection. I believe there is a tremendous demand for this kind of housing for workforce people, from teachers, nurses, firemen, policemen. These units can accommodate up to 2 people, so a couple can live there. And the projected rental rates will be somewhere between $12.50 and $13.75, $13.95. It depends on the market at the time when it's completed. And we have done similar projects in other cities in Los Angeles, and we have been extremely successful because the demand for this kind of affordable housing, although it doesn't come under the affordable housing ordinance of any sort, it's in great demand. And and as you all know, there is a huge shortage of housing in LA, and the rents are going through the roof, where a lot of the young kids, especially 20 to 30-year-olds, end up living with their parents for much longer than what we used to live with our parents. So it will serve 2 purposes. The parents get rid of the kids, and the kids go on their own. Any questions?
Well, before I open it up to my colleagues for questions, because I was the one who called for the hearing, primarily it's because of the fact that when this came before us through the Planning Commission, we just kind of only saw this in paper, you know, black and white. Being able to see the picture of it, how great this project looks here, I think, it looks phenomenal here. And this area has been vacant for a long time, and in fact, this is kind of part of my route when I go to work. So I'm constantly looking at that vacant field there. So I definitely think this is going to, you know, add to Gardena. I can see where, you know, this would be something young working professionals, you know, somewhere they would like to live. And I'm just happy to see the shrubbery around there, the setback there. It looks like it's going to be a very pretty project.
Yes.
So thank you for providing all of that information to us. And I believe now we kind of have a this was kind of our first test one, but we now have a better procedure that when these items get approved before the Planning Commission, now we'll be able to see them and have some, you know, better information so that we don't have to call for review so many times with items like this. And as elected officials, I think it would almost be wrong for us to approve an item before we could see it and have, more specifications before us. So I do thank you for providing that with us, and I would very much be in support of this project. Even though I call for review, it looks great. Thank you for providing all of that information to us. To my colleagues, would you guys like to comment or questions? Councilmember Henderson?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In regards to this project, I think it's actually a good project as well, and because I'm always looking for other things to do. As a Gardena resident, if I wanted to participate in the demolition and building of this project, would I be able to do that as well? And are you interested in Gardena residents working on this project or Gardena suppliers supplying supplies for this project?
Yeah, of course, always. If you can help in any way, you can just, whoever can just get in touch with us, and we will consider, anyone who can provide services to us.
Thank you.
Well, that's definitely something we appreciate, working with local businesses within our community here. Councilmember Kaskanen, you had a comment?
Yes,
question?
I have a question, actually, Madam Mayor. Thank you. Sir, I didn't catch your name. What was your name?
Marios Savidis.
Savidis.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Savidis, just want to put it in a prospective visual to the audience and to the people that are watching us on the TV. 350 square feet?
350 square feet.
So it's like, it's pretty much the size of a two-car garage or smaller?
It's huge. Believe it or not, it's a lot of space, but it is approximately in the size of a two-car garage.
Two-car garage, so it's going to have a full bathroom.
It's going to have a
laundry room,
full kitchen.
Full kitchen.
Full bathroom.
All right.
And, it's space for an office, to have a desk and an office, and your bed, and probably a couch. And believe it or not, we have done this many times. And in fact, we have another project in Pasadena, which is 220 square feet, and it has all these things in it.
And it's built already? Can we go see it?
It's already built. You're more than welcome to come and look at it. It's fully occupied, but I'm sure we can get you into a unit, 89 units. And it's fully occupied, and those units are renting for about 1,000 because they're smaller, 950 to 1,000. And they are always full. And there is a waiting list.
All right. And the manager, I'm assuming, on the property is going to make sure that no other than two people leave.
That's correct.
It's going to be, obviously, two people, maybe they'll fit in that small, tight area.
No, the two people will fit, no problem. And, of course, the manager makes sure that only up to two people will live there.
I see. All right. Thank you very much. I was just concerned about that. Thank you.
I understand your concern, and it's a very valid concern.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? If not, I'm going to, you know what? Unfortunately, with a public hearing, you would have to submit a form in, and I'd just like to stay with the formal process of that. Okay, because you filled out the form, we'll allow it this time. Go ahead and if you could hand it to our Sergeant at Arms here.
I'm done for now.
You can have a seat in the front seat there.
You.
So just that everybody in the audience knows, it's especially with a hearing, it's imperative that you please fill out the form and give it to our Sergeant at Arms. We will make this exception one time today. Two. Okay, so since it was filled out, go ahead. We'll start making those announcements before the meeting starts. Before the meeting starts, well. So for the purposes of the hearing, we do have two speakers from the audience. The first one is Yolanda Kennedy. Go ahead.
Good evening. My name is Yolanda Kennedy. I'm the homeowner of the townhouse since 2000. I've been in the area. I did see the picture of the building, but I had a concern and some type of uncertainty that the building was too huge of a project for the particular lot. I didn't think that the lot was large enough for the type of projects that's being built. I also had a concern regarding the traffic and the safety. I worked 30 years with the Department of Defense. I'm retired now, and I take my grandkids to school, and there's constantly traffic as it is because WAVE is pushing traffic onto 139th. In fact, last week I almost had an accident coming out of my unit there. And I'm concerned about that with the traffic flow, as well as the units and the visitors, because I didn't see anywhere where there was visiting parking, assigned parking. I consciously, during the process, I would just hope that all items are checked and balanced when you look at the safety or the overcrowdedness of the area, and that's mainly my concern. I understand, I've been there since 2000. I've seen a lot vacant, and it is a beautiful building. The building is beautiful. But I did feel like it was, maybe it should be scaled back some. I don't know. And another concern about the environmental report, excuse me. My apology, I couldn't come on the 20th of March because I was ill and I'm still getting over a cold. But the concern that I had was to ensure that you're not creating a nuisance onto the families that live within the particular area, especially across the street there.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Couple of quick questions to Mr. Savvides. Did you had a community meeting as far as notifying the people in the community?
Yeah, we notify. We send a mailer out, and the original plan was for 33 units, and we did cut it back to 20 units, and the actual lot allows us for one FAR, and we cut it down to 2/3 of that.
Okay, thank you. And this message for Mr. City Manager. This project, it meets our height requirements, correct? So there's no questions in regards to that?
Mayor, certain members of the council, this has met all our requirements. So for the purposes of approval, it's essentially, required, it's authorized by law to conduct this building. They actually did reduce the FAR, which of course not only impacts the number of units, it also impacts the number of traffic, and the study was done at the higher standard. So I think there was thoughtful consideration in terms of what the impacts to the community. It's, with 20 units, the impact generally is going to be fairly, very low. There is ample parking, street level parking along 139th. It's not particularly congested on the west side.
Okay, so all the visitor parking lot will be on the street, correct? It will not be inside of the facility.
I do believe there's one park.
Sir, Savvides, can you come to the
There is no
microphone?
requirement for guest parking. The only requirement is one parking space per unit and 2 parking spaces for the manager's unit. That's your ordinance.
Okay. Okay, so if that's our ordinance, and And he abided by that. Okay. Next speaker is Yolanda Dunn. I believe that's the last name. Yes, please come forward.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, staff, and constituents. My name is Yolanda Dunn. I'm speaking totally off this topic. I'm here on behalf of Resolve to Rise. It's a nonprofit in the city of Hawthorne dedicated to stopping and preventing sexual assault by raising awareness, education, empowerment, and prevention. Thank you, first of all, for allowing me to speak. I'm
Mayor
here to
Serta,
invite you.
this would probably be, this is not on the agenda for this item.
Okay. Is this, I'm sorry, is this in regards to this project
No,
here?
no, that's what I said. It's not regarding this.
Oh, okay.
I came from another city council meeting, and I ran over here, and I was hoping I can make it to when
Okay.
you have the open oral communication.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm sorry. We can,
No, I was just sitting
we can
next to
actually take this item at the very end of the council meeting. We can open it up at that
Okay,
time.
that's
We're only
fine.
tonight speaking, I'm sorry, right now specifically regarding this project here.
That's perfectly fine. Thank you. I appreciate that you're allowing me to speak afterwards. Thank
Okay,
you.
that sounds great. Does any other member of the council have any other more questions or comments?
I have one more comment, if I
Okay,
may.
go ahead, sir, go ahead.
Okay, we have other, as I mentioned earlier, we have other similar projects.
Uh-huh.
And what we have experienced is the parking requirement of 1 per unit, only half of that is really necessary. A lot of the tenants do not have cars. And lately, in fact, they're using, other than using the mass transportation, they are using Uber or Lyft, and they are saving a lot of money. So for example, in Pasadena, the requirement was 1 parking space for every 4 units, but we provided like 3 parking spaces for every 4 units. Half of the parking lot is empty.
Really?
The same with Santa Monica. We provided over there was 1 parking per every 2 units, plus in Santa Monica there was one parking for every 5 units for guests. Out of about 56 parking spaces, we barely use 40 in Santa Monica. So you have the highest requirement for parking for SROs in the city, in the county of Los Angeles. So that's our experience.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, if our guidelines didn't state it had to have it, then you haven't done anything wrong here. You've abided by our policies here. Mayor Pro Tem, you had a question or comment?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just a quick comment. I grew up on 139th, and there were complaints back in the day when the hotel was being built because they thought it was an oversaturation and there wouldn't be any parking, but there's never been really a problem. And that lot has been an eyesore for years upon years upon years. So it's really good, and I appreciate that you cut back, you made allowances and did what you need to do to make the city happy and the residents happy. So I'm hoping that the comments that were made here tonight will somehow be quelled by seeing that the project really isn't going to cause the problems that we might think that are going to be there. So we just really appreciate that you're making that area, because when I was there, it was pretty much nothing there. But it's really nice that we have projects like this that you're bringing. So thank you.
Okay, Councilmember Kaskanian.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. One more question I forgot to ask you, Mr. Savidis. I'm assuming the building and the parking, it's ADA requirement met everything, right?
Absolutely.
And you have elevator in the building?
No elevator. It's not required for a 3-story building. All ground floor units are ADA accessible. It's the state law. No elevator is required for a 3-story building.
No elevator. So if a handicapped person comes to the building and
the
ground floor, it's rented out, and he's going to get refused.
It's a state law. I don't make the law, so that's the state law. No elevator is required.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Just questions.
No. We do everything according to the law.
Thank you.
So just as a way of background, I could have included that these SROs are really focused on enhancing affordable, and I mean that from the sense of affordable rental units in communities where housing shortages are really apparent, and it's the state law is trying to make this as easy as they can for developers to increase the housing stock in areas where significantly impacted by the lack of housing.
Okay, thank you. So at this time, since we don't have any more speakers or comments, we're going to go ahead and close the public hearing. And I'm going to make the motion to adopt resolution number 6319. Can I get a second?
Second.
Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by myself to adopt resolution 6319, and it was also seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka. Will you call the roll, please?
Mayor Serta?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka?
Yes.
Councilmember Medina?
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaskanian?
Yes.
Okay, well, good luck with your project. Okay, next moving on is item number 8B3. Mr. City Manager?
Mayor, Serta, members of the City Council, agenda number 8B3 is resolution number 6318, adopting local road maintenance projects for fiscal year 2018-19, which is job number 949, to be funded by SB 1 funding, the Road Repair and Accountability Act. Senate Bill SB 1, the Road Repair and Accountability Act of 2017, was passed by the legislature and signed into law by the governor in April of 2017 in order to address a significant multimodal transportation funding shortfall statewide. SB 1 includes accountability and transparency provisions that will ensure the residents of the City of Gardena are aware of the projects proposed for the funding in each of our communities and which projects have been completed each fiscal year. The City of Gardena must adopt the projects proposed to receive funding from the Road Maintenance and Rehabilitation Act created by SB 1 by resolution. The City of Gardena will receive approximately $1,077,365 in RMRA funding for fiscal year 2018 and 2019 from SB 1. The budget amount, as mentioned, is $1,077,365. Funding source is SB 1 and was required is to adopt resolution number 6318.
Okay, thank you. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments at this time? If not, can I get a motion to adopt resolution number 6318?
So move.
Second.
Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Medina and a second by Councilmember Kaskanian. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Medina?
Yes.
Councilmember Kaskanian?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka?
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson?
Yes.
Mayor Tanaka? Mayor Serta, pardon me.
It's okay.
See,
Yes.
I'm already making you the mayor.
Okay.
Good shoes to fill.
Next up is item number 8B4.
Yes, Mayor Serta and the members of the City Council, we could actually take agenda items 8B4 and 8B5 together. These are yearly agenda items that come to you. It's a multi-step process to get both of these resolutions in order. So resolution number 6314 adopts the engineer's report for the Gardena Artesia Boulevard Landscaping Assessment District for fiscal year 2018 and 2019, declaring its intent to levy and collect assessments under the Gardena Artesia Boulevard Landscaping Assessment District for fiscal years 2018 and 19, and set a time and place for the hearing protest in relation to. The public hearing would be May 22nd, 2018. The budget amount for this assessment district is $21,662. It's funded by that assessment district, and which we were required is to adopt resolution number 6314. Similarly, agenda number 8B5 is approving the engineer's report for the Gardena Consolidated Street Lighting Assessment District for fiscal year 2018-19, declaring its intention to levy and collect assessments under the Gardena Consolidated Lighting District for fiscal year 2018-19, and set a time and place for the hearing protest in relation to this. Once again, that budget amount is much higher. It's $721,580.24. It's funded through the Lighting Assessment District. What is required is to adopt resolutions number 6315 and adopt resolution number 6314. Both of these are yearly resolutions.
Okay, thank you. Does any member of the council have any questions or comments at this time? Councilmember Medina?
Now, this has nothing to do with trying to get the recycled water through the median?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Different. Okay, so at this time, can I get a motion to adopt resolution number 6314 and also 6315?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Madam City Clerk, there was a motion made by Councilmember Medina and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka. Will you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Medina.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka.
Yes.
Councilmember Henderson.
Yes.
Councilmember Kaskanian.
Yes.
Mayor Serta.
Yes. Okay, next up is council directives. Does any member of the council have any directives at this time? If not, let's move over to item number 9C, which is city manager remarks and directives.
Thank you, Mayor Serta, members of the council. First thing I want to advise the city council, as directed, we will be having the first Gardena Community Budget Forum at the Nakaoka Center. The date is Wednesday, May 19th, 2018, and it goes from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. We're going to provide our community with a comprehensive description of how the city gets its funding, how it spends its funding, and some of the challenges and opportunities that are facing the city. These marketing materials have been placed throughout the city in various locations, as well as on our website and other things to try to increase maximum participation and transparency to our city regarding our city finances. Next, in your council packages, there's a City of Gardena 2-year fiscal year 18-19, 19-20 budget presentation schedule. I will remind that the City Council, since we are doing things differently this year, the proposed budget, well, first of all, we're going to start off with the May 9th Community Forum. Then it'll go to the May 22nd, where we will present the budget to the City Council for review and include a public hearing on the first draft of the budget, which will start a 30-day review for members of the City Council and the community. We're then following up with a June 7th planning session so we can discuss the budget as you had time to reflect on it and provide staff with any additional potential changes we have. We will then be canceling the June 12th meeting because we do have the waiting period to adopt the budget on the June 26th, 2018, 7:30 June 26, 2018 council meeting, which will be the final presentation and approval of the city budget. So that informational memo is in your council. There's a couple memos there for council requests on 13300 block of Vermont regarding speeding, and then the 135, there was a speaker here last week about the conditions at 13400 block of Van Ness and parking in the alley. Those both have been addressed, and those memos are in your package. A couple, I think, positive issues. Today, Chief Kang announced that he plans on promoting Lieutenant Kang to captain, I think in the first week.
Not Kang,
Lieutenant
Safel?
Safel to captain. I'll get it right. Sometime in the first week of May, the City Council and the committee will certainly be notified. So that's great as our continued progression moves forward. It's also great. The next council meeting, I plan on providing as I mentioned, a quarterly update on our capital improvements, what's going on, where we're at, and what's the status, and we'll present that to you at the next council meeting. Many of you have noticed as you walk through City Hall, the remodel is in full force. Hopefully very soon will be done to enhance the customer experience and share using technology and other things to make the city council chambers just much more attractive for people to come and visit and take care of their business. And lastly is, we know we've had this portable TV here, we've had a projector. Soon that will all change. We will have I think 80 or 90 inch screen TV here and two two TVs over there, sort of where these two vacant outlets are, so that the members of the audience can see. Will all be controlled by one centralized control panel, and will be modernized in the future. So that ends my report, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Next, we're going to move on to council remarks. We're going to begin tonight with Councilmember Kaskanian.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Since our last meeting, I attended on April 16th the swearing in and badge pinning for our new chief, Thomas Kang. Congratulations, Chief. Gardena was in a great shape safely, and I'm pretty sure it would continue that way. We're going to be safe and safer. And congratulations again. On April 19th, I attended a Finance Committee meeting, and I would like to rest assured to the city of Gardena community or the neighbors that we are in good shape. We're still good. I would like to say thank you to Mr. Crispo, G-Trans. I see the signs are up already, the new signs for the G-Trans. They look beautiful. April 21st, I attended a car show at Sarah High School. Beautiful cars. Whoever missed it, they really missed it. Great cars. There was a dragster, and it was a great event. I attended. I was there for almost 2.5 hours watching the cars. And is what? Oh yeah, my colleague was with me, Council Member Medina, with his lovely wife. On April 21st again, I attended the Gourmet Chef Festival at Raleigh Park. It was a great event too as well. Thank you, Kelly, to putting together. And I missed the pancake breakfast at the YMCA. I got there, it was lunchtime probably. So it was late, there was not serving any more pancakes, so I missed it. On April 22nd, I got invitation from the United Armenian Council for the commemoration of the Armenian genocide in Los Angeles. And I went to the 103rd, it was the 103rd anniversary commemoration. And this year we're also marked the 50th anniversary of the consecration of the Armenian Genocide Martyrs Monument, which was unveiled in the presence of then California Governor Ronald Reagan. So there was Congressman Adam Schiff, Ed Royce was present, and various from the city's mayors and council members. And today, Madam Mayor, is April 24th, is the Armenian Genocide Day. 103 years ago, Armenians, they were massacred, marched to their death through the deserts of Syria. And I would like to adjourn today's meeting, Madam Mayor, in the memory of the 1.5 million Armenians who died and massacred through the genocide. And that will end my report.
Okay, thank you. Next is Mayor Pro Tem Tanaka.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So since our last meeting, I had the privilege to attend the Gardena Police Foundation Scholarship Program. Some really great young people, but I was most proud because two of our Explorer Scouts received scholarships, and I know both of them, and it was well-deserved, so congratulations to them. Attended Long Beach Grand Prix, where I was able to meet with the mayor of Long Beach. I was really honored that I was able to go to the Wiesenthal Center of the Museum of Tolerance, where Sri Sri Ravi Shankar was given a founder of the Art Living Foundation certificate, and it was quite an affair. It was really nice to meet him, and our city honored him with a certificate. Congratulations to Tom Kang on being pinned and appointed as chief. That was a great day. Your family was so proud of you that day. Your mom and dad were just elated with that. So congratulations. I've seen you grow from a young Explorer Scout all the way up the ranks with our city manager, and I'm proud of both of you, but congratulations and continue to do the good things that you do for the police department. I attended the workplace violence training through California Cities, and I'll give you my receipt, my certificate for participation. It was actually a pretty good class. It was put on by Jennifer Rosner, who is part of our legal team that represents us in the city. Attended Shige's grand opening on Western Avenue. If you haven't tried them as far as having a mechanic, it's a pretty good transparent place. They stand by their work. Dan, thank you very much. I was able to attend the Cinco de Mayo Queen coronation. Congratulations to Nancy Morales. She's kind of shy, but I'm sure she'll represent Cinco de Mayo in Gardena very well, so congratulations to her. Let's see. Mike Safel is a very good choice as captain, and I'm glad to hear that you are going to appoint him as a captain in our police department. I'm very, very honored I've seen him in his career grow up, so I'm glad to see that. One thing, I'm not sure that was going to be brought up tonight, but I received in one of my packages about how well the city of Gardena is doing in their finances. And I received a press release. So Clint, you should be very proud, along with Ed, on what we received as a press release from Government Finance Officers Association. And our Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting has been awarded to the City of Gardena by Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada. For its comprehensive annual financial reporting, the Certificate of Achievement is the highest form of recognition in the area of government accounting and financial reporting, and its attainment represents a significant accomplishment by government and its management. So you guys should be proud, and I thank you very much for the hard work and diligence that you guys do to continue to make our city on the map. So thank you very much. That ends my report.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilmember Henderson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Since our last meeting, a few things have happened. I've attended a few events. On April 11th, we had the co-hosted event with the Department of California Business Oversight. We want to thank Kelly Fuji and her staff for help, and as well Mr. City Manager in assisting in putting on that event. I was about 10 or so vendors from around the state of California, State Controller's Office, State Contractors Board, talking about fraud and senior abuse and senior scams. So it was a great opportunity. Since that time, I've also conducted Open City Hall this past Saturday, and nobody showed up. Everybody emailed me or they text me, so I'm making it too easy now. So I got to get folks to come out. Also on that Saturday was the Shige's Automotive opening, as well as the Sarah Car Show, as well as the gourmet event at Raleigh Park. And while I was at Raleigh Park, I was able to see the memorial of the young member in the community that lost his life. And I want to give condolences out to that family for their loss of their loved one in regards to that, as well as give some thoughts and prayers to the police officers that were involved in that as well, because their lives are going to be changing, and it's going to have an impact on them as well. An event like that can always tear a community apart, and that's something I think as our leadership, our elected leadership, as well as our department heads, we need to start developing some strategies in regards to what we can do to continue the dialogue and the communication between our law enforcement and our community. I realize we have a new chief and a new captain. I always pray for leadership because it's always difficult. This is your first challenge, but I think this is an opportunity for us to share with the community the efforts we put forth in our police officers receiving implicit bias training, procedural justice training, de-escalation training and everything. And I know it doesn't resolve all the issues that are happening, especially in today's climate, but I think we, in the spirit of transparency and collaboration, we need to give the community an opportunity to kind of share some of their thoughts and everything, and for us to take feedback in regards to what we can do different. Again, this is an unfortunate incident that happened in our community. We definitely don't want to act like it didn't happen. We just want to make sure that we start taking the steps to do what we can do to foster collaboration. And also, Mr. City Manager and Chief, as the incoming president-elect of ICA, I would like to know what we can do to help our police force gain more resources in regards to mental health support and different things like that. I know we have a MET team, but we have to share our resources with neighboring cities. So we need to maybe look at opportunities for us to have our own resources and see what that can give us, or at least make the request and figure out what we can do, because these are type of events that can actually rip a community apart. And I just want to make sure we do all we can to make sure we kind of keep it together. We had a really hot contested election this past season. We've had all these different issues, but we're a city that can persevere and get through it. But we want to make sure that the entire community understands that we're here and we want to address the issues. And to make an appeal myself as an African-American man, to make sure that we just want to make everybody aware that we want you to see the humanity in everybody, because sometimes I think that gets lost and taken for granted. So we want to embrace our entire Gardena community at this time. Again, our condolences out to the family that lost their loved one, as well as our police officers that will be impacted by this. Madam Mayor, so ends my report.
Okay, thank you. And for myself, I'm just going to read through really quickly. I attended several events over the past 2 weeks. The first one was the Gardena Police Department Foundation Luncheon that was held, and recognizing a couple of young individuals who received scholarships from our police foundation. And also I attended Family Day of the Latter-day Saints, where their main topic was on Ancestry.com and how you can learn more information about your ancestry and how easy it was, and how once you find out your basic information through Ancestry.com, how other techniques and free ways to go deeper into your ancestry and go back 5, 6, 7 generations, which was really very enlightening. There were so many free things on the internet that I had no idea that you could look into to find out more information about people in your family, as well as people who were deceased. A lot of great information. So if ever anybody is interested, you can please come see me, and I can share a huge notebook that I was given from this group on how to find out more about your family's ancestry. I also attended the craft fair here in the city of Gardena, and then also on that following Sunday, I attended the Sister Cities fundraiser. It was called Quartermania fundraiser, and it was probably one of the least expensive fundraisers I've ever gone to, where you only had to you kind of bid it with quarters, but it was a lot of fun, and for items that were being raffled off. Immediately following that, I attended the New Frontier Democratic Club's recognition ceremony, where they recognized women in the community, and their topic was Women Standing Strong in the Community. And then on that following Monday, I attended the promotion ceremony for Chief Kang, and again, I'd just like to offer my congratulations to him. I too attended the Finance Committee meeting. And then on last Friday, I attended Career Day at one of the local elementary schools. And generally, I do this all the time, attend the career days, but I think this was probably going to be my last one because the kids wore me out, and I'm going to pass this on to Mayor Pro Tem if you'd like to do them at my place here and explain what a mayor does. Also, I attended the lunch portion of Gardena High School's 420 Day and helped the students as a had a raffle for all the young people who participated in anti-420 activities. And I'd just like to thank Jorge Guadique, Officer Sterling Kim, for all the work that you guys did in putting that event together. I also attended the YMCA's Pancake Breakfast, a volunteer day, on last Saturday, and also Shinge's grand opening. And then later on that night, I attended the Japanese American National Museum, their gala dinner down at the Bonaventure, where they recognize Japanese American people who who've contributed to the advancement of Japanese American people after the incarceration of Japanese American people many years ago. And then, let's see, on Sunday, I left for Sacramento and just returned a couple of hours ago, right before the meeting. And I was there kind of trying to meet more of our elected officials to see how we can get more resources here in the city of Gardena. I did have the opportunity to see Senator Bradford, and got a chance to kind of see him in action, and I can honestly say he is definitely working hard for us in Sacramento. So with that, I believe that ends my report. And next up is Councilmember Medina.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Since our last meeting, I attended the Metro Service Council with Mr. Crespo from G-Trans, and Metropolitan bus services are really expanding. They're bringing out, in fact, they had last Sunday was a free bus day. Last Sunday you could have driven the bus anywhere, and it was free. Needless to say, I can't announce it now, but it's done. And their Metropolitan is looking forward to having more free days like that, so they can get more people to realize that mass transit is a good thing and it's cheap, especially when it's free. I also attended the Gardena Beautification Committee, and I just want to announce that we're going to have 3 concerts. Thanks for the support from Kelly and the Recreation Department. June 23rd, July 21st, and August 18th will be free concerts out on the lawn. And those dates I got from Pauline, so it'll be a Saturday from 5 to 7, and we'll have ice cream and free cake and coffee. So keep those dates in mind if you like music. We're going to try to change the venue a little bit and maybe have some reggae groups and some mariachis even. Who knows? We're still looking on that. Also attended the craft show, which I was working for my wife as a tamale vendor, and we ran out of tamales, and it was a lot of fun. I also attended the 54th anniversary of the City of Hawaiian Gardens. We played there with 27 bands, including Tierra and Malo, and we were very blessed to get a chance to. They don't mess around when they have concerts. Every night, including Sunday night, they didn't end till 11 o'clock. I also attended the YMCA pancake breakfast and the Healthy Kids Healthy Kids Day, because I was a DJ on the side where I even had a kid who asked for "It's All About the Bass." Believe it or not, that's the song that they wanted to hear. And last but not least, I got a chance to attend the immigration seminar that Assemblywoman Adam Burke had at Lenox Elementary School. Learned a lot about immigration that I thought I knew, and I didn't. And for those of you who are out there, if you want more immigration information, you can call area code 310-421-6400 at Autumn Burke's office. And 5 things that she put out that you should all know is if you ever get an immigration official, don't let them into your home unless they have a warrant specifically with your name on it and is signed by a judge. Do not sign any documents, and you have the right to remain silent. Number 1. Number 4, you have to answer you do not have to answer any questions about your birthplace. I didn't know that. Also, do not falsify documents or lie about your citizenship status. There are hundreds of things that you can learn about. A lot of assembly bills that have been passed to protect immigration. And for those of you who've ever applied for DACA and it expired, you have until September of 2018 to renew that at no loss of your status. That hadn't been put out until last Thursday. So for those of you who know people who have had their DACA documents expired, you still have until September of 2018 to renew your DACA status, and with no penalty to you as far as your citizenship is concerned. And that, we'd like to remind you to please attend our Cinco de Mayo festivity. We'll have Mandril from Radio Central 93.9 there, as well as Rosie Navarro. And I think Rosie's going to have about 10,000 mariachis following her on her parade. So come on by and have some fun with us, and we'll have a good time. Thank you.
Okay, and for our announcements here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4. The first one, just want to remind everybody that April 26, 2018 is the RX Drug Media event that's going to be held at the Torrance Memorial Hoffman Health Center for anybody who would like to attend the press conference with us. That's April 26 at 10 a.m. to 10:30, and that will be in the city of Torrance. Also, on April 28th, that's a Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., we'll have the DEA National Prescription Take Back, which will be here at Gardena PD, 1718 West 162nd Street. That is from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Also would like to, again, remind everybody to please come out and attend our Cinco de Mayo parade. I believe it begins at 10 a.m. and it starts at Gardena Market. That's on Gardena Boulevard and Brighton, New Hampshire. It begins at 10 a.m. and immediately following that, there is a ceremony at Masukai Park. Thank you. And then on Wednesday, May 9th, we have our community budget forum meeting, which will be held at the Nakaoka Community Center. It will be Wednesday, May 9th, 2018, from 6 p.m. until 8 p.m. And we'll probably announce that again at the next council meeting, being that it will be the next day after the next council meeting. And I think that ends my announcements.
Mayor, you allowed, okay.
I know, that's next.
We're all doing the same thing, right?
It's okay. Thank you. I appreciate all the help here. Next, we have the one speaker for oral communications, Yolanda Dunn. Please come back to the front.
Turn it on first.
Push the button.
Turn it on.
There you go.
There you go.
Turn it on now? Oh, there we go. Good evening, Mayor, City Council, staff, and constituents. Thank you again for allowing me to come up here, and I apologize for the confusion a little earlier. I'm here on behalf of the organization Resolve to Rise, which is a nonprofit in the city of Hawthorne that's dedicated to stopping and preventing sexual assault by raising awareness, education, empowerment, and prevention. I'm here to invite all of you and your staff, as well as your community, to attend Resolve to Rise and the Hawthorne Police Department's second annual symposium called Stand Your Ground, Fighting Sexual Assault Together. This will be held in the Hawthorne Memorial Center this coming Saturday, April 28th, from 10 a.m. till 1 o'clock at 3901 West El Segundo Boulevard in Hawthorne. Will be light breakfast will be provided. It is a free event. It's open to the public, and it's in the Venus Room. We will be hearing from panelist speakers that consist of Detective Kate Mosif from the Hawthorne Police Department, forensic nurse, Los Angeles County Department of Mental Health, Adriana Carrillo, a licensed clinical social worker, and 2 survivors, both male and female. This is April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, so this is something that we highly encourage people to come and attend. We will talk about how to identify grooming signs, what you can do to protect your family, yourself, and your communities. Also, we are holding at the end of the month, April 30th, Monday at 7 p.m., a vigil. It is we're inviting all sexual assault survivors, community members, family of survivors, to come and join us in solidarity for a moment of silence, and to hear from myself, the founder of the organization, about how I myself have resolved to rise from this crime. I am a survivor of sexual assault at the hands of my father and my second eldest brother. My second eldest brother is serving a lifetime sentence in prison for committing a sex crime onto other young kids years ago, but it caught up to him, thank God, because that's where sexual predators need to be, behind bars. So we invite sexual assault survivors to come out in solidarity on Monday the 30th at 7 p.m. You will have a moment of silence. You'll hear from me and how I've overcome. Sally, I do have to confess that my daughter, when she was 6, was raped by her second eldest brother, by her half-brother, while she was at her dad's care in his house while he was home. So this topic I hold dear in my heart, and it's my passion and my mission to do what I can to empower communities and help to protect as many children and communities as possible. So please join us either April 26th or Monday, April 30th at 7 p.m. I do have flyers for all of you. and for your community as well. Thank you for your time, and again, I apologize for the confusion.
Okay, thank you. So tonight we're going to be adjourning in memory of Mrs. Maxine Jackson, who was 64 years old and the beloved aunt of custodian Jackie Wright Harris with the City of Gardena Recreation, Human Services, Parks, and Facilities Department. We're also going to be adjourning in memory of the 103rd anniversary of the Armenian Genocide, which is today, April 24th. And also we'll be adjourning in memory of the 1.5 million Armenians who passed away. So at this time, the Gardena City Council meeting will adjourn to our next regular City Council meeting, which will be at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, May 8, 2018. We are adjourned.